Since 1985, only one player has led back-to-back PBA national tournaments. This man, Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
All right. I'm bowling great. I'm going to do it this time.
The Professional Bowlers Association Summer Tour on ESPN is being brought to you by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By True Value Hardware. It's more than our name, it's our way of doing business. And by Columbia 300. Welcome to Active West Town Square Lanes in Riverside, California for the championship round finals of the $130,000 Kessler Classic. And now let's meet tonight's finalists. In the opening match, it's 32-year-old Sam Maccarone out of Glassboro, New Jersey. He'll be meeting right-hander Dave Arnold of Campbell, California, both players seeking their first career PBA championships. The survivor of that opening game will then take on the current Firestone Tournament of Champions champion, Mark Williams. And for the second straight year, Mark Baker out of nearby Garden Grove, California, has qualified to the number 2 position, while old Deadeye, Walter Ray Williams, Jr., has for the second consecutive week bowled his way to the top seed position. Hi, everybody. I'm Denny Schreiner, and welcome to Riverside, California. Working with me once again is PBA Hall of Famer Mike Durbin. And before we get down to the business at hand, Mike has a personal note.
I sure do, Denny. This is my 25th wedding anniversary, and here I am in Riverside, California. My wife is in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. So all I can do, we can't be together, is say, happy anniversary, honey, and I love you.
Well, I know you're a Hall of Famer, and she deserves to be a Hall of Famer for putting up with you traveling all those years. All right, let's get down now to the brass tacks. Walter Ray Williams, Jr. on top of the stack for the second consecutive week. But, Michael, he's struggled from the top seed position. 0 for 4 from there, only averaging 194. Can he win here tonight?
Well, I think the answer to that question, Denny, is a definite yes. If you remember, last year, Brian Boss was 0 for 6 from the top seed when he came into this very tournament here in Riverside, and he defeated Amleto Monticelli and won from the top spot. Walter Ray says that he's going to do it this time, and I believe him.
Walter Ray Williams, Jr., a very determined player. He'll try and win the championship here this evening. But before we get to him, a couple of talented players will meet in the opening game. Sam Maccarone and Dave Arnold.
This was for all that you do. Hello! Hey!
In the minors, you must have called it all 1,000 times, but you never lost sight of the dream.
I got a telegram for you, Tony.
Okay, thanks, Pop. Hi, babe. Hey, guess what? I got the call. Yeah? I'm in the majors.
You got a shot, you take it.
What's this, rookie umpire?
You got the heart to make it. You got the fire, that big league desire. You keep on reaching higher. You make America work, and this buzz for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers.
Hi. Compliments from the gentleman over there.
This buzz for you.
It's time to visit one of the world's great garden spots. The Lawn and Garden Department at your local True Value hardware store, where you'll find the Nelson Rain Shot Trigger Nozzle for just $5.88. And the Weed Eater Electric Trimmer with extra line for only $24.99. For trees and shrubs, get the Ross Root Feeder for just $14.97. And get rid of bugs indoors and out with Decon Home Pest Killer, only $5.99. At participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
To those who fearlessly accept the challenge of car care, Kmart dedicates the following. The Carnauba Turbo Spray Wash Wax System, now on sale for just $3.97. You can't lose at the Auto Center at Kmart, the saving place and more.
Welcome back, everybody, to Riverside, California. Opening match of the $130,000 Kessler Classic between Sam Maccarone and 24-year-old Dave Arnold. And Maccarone will start on the left-hand lane, and boy, did he bowl brilliantly in the position round game last night to get to the telecast.
He jumped the last 4 in a row to make Jeff Rickles get the first one on the 10th, and he's up to ring in 10 and didn't make it.
Round pair, 45 and 46, and through the years it's been a very high-scoring pair, but the
throughout the week, the score is low to medium this week.
Probably the lowest that we've had this summer, Dan.
Yeah.
So they shoot 210 tonight. That should have a good chance of winning. Hard and straight at the 2-5, no problem.
First good look now at, I think, a very talented player. Dave Arnold made the telecast here last year and bowled very, very well. Lost to Amleto Monticelli. Shot a big game.
Shot 256 and lost it.
Yeah. But, boy, the last 3 or 4 weeks, Arnold's been right there.
Too wide. 1, 2, 4, 7. Dave likes to go straight and can't afford. That time he just bellied the ball a little bit to the right. A little bit nervous. Both players kind of made conservative defensive shots, tentative shots in that first frame.
You know, in watching match play this week, Mike, I saw more professionals miss the headpin on the right and the left than I think I have at any other tournament I've ever watched. Seems to be an out of bounds out there this week.
On both sides, huh?
Yeah, oh, sure. Some were runaway freight trains to the left and others missed to the right, but that's a tough spare conversion, so Arnold's going to settle his nerves a little bit by converting in the first.
Dave has a very solid game. He throws the ball relatively straight and likes to go right at the pocket. And in this bowling center last year, it was higher scoring than this year, but he could play basically the same type of angle. It's just a little bit higher scores last year than this.
Well, he knows how to win. He's got a PBA regional title to his credit thus far. I think would like to bowl full-time on the national tour. Obviously, if he would win here this evening, go a long way in doing that. Once again, a little wide, this time on the left-hand lane, and nearly the same result.
1, 2, 4 this time. If you notice, you know, his goal is to make a living on the tour, which I really think is the wrong goal. When Mark Williams, we're going to see in the next match, his goal is to win this tournament. It's more immediate, more definite, more positive. To make a living on the tour is just kind of a vague goal, and I know because I had that as a goal at one time. Makes the spare. I think when you're setting goals for yourself like that, you need to be definite about it, and you need to establish specific, realistic goals, something that you can target for. To make a living on the tour is just, in my opinion, too vague.
Sam Maccarone, 8 years of professional on and off the national tour. He's bowled more regularly the last couple of years and has had some success. Still looking for that first title. There's a better reaction on the right-hand lane.
Well, when you see your opponent come out with the headpin the first 2 shots, it's got to give you a little bit of confidence because you know he's nervous.
Match play record this week for Mr. Maccarone, 15 wins and 9 losses, and I hesitate to say this, but we might as well get it out. Games of 190 and 164 on the championship pair, a nice average of 177, and he's got to be thinking about that.
Not necessarily. When I won in Syracuse, I had won in 7 years, and I had averaged like 180 on the championship pair. Shot a pair of 220s when I made the championship round. So Sam says it'll fall on TV just like that.
Fall even better on instant replay. Nice double for Maccarone, who is going to seize control early on in this match.
Sam, very free arm swing, gets the ball well out on the lane. Very little hook, about the 8th board. End over end roll right into the 1-3 pocket, all 10 in the pit. Three, 6, 10. That time it just appeared that his right shoulder dropped in an effort to try and get the ball up to the 1-3 pocket, and he just set it left of where he wanted to. Mr. Arnold is what we call right now lost.
What a difference a day would make on the television pair. Arnold with games of 276 and 207 for an average of 241.5.
And he's playing this spare from the right, didn't he?
Well, he hasn't been able to get to the pocket yet. On either lane, so you might as well throw your strike shot.
He hit the 3-6 flush 2 times in a row. He says, I know how to do that.
Now he's got to solve the puzzle in the pocket. Boy, I think that time you saw the reaction where he really slowed down the ball speed, too, I think, in hopes of getting the ball to the pocket. Slowed it down a little too much.
Let's see if he can get himself together and make a better shot here. High again on the crossover. All right, that'll count.
Well, it all looks the same. 10 in the pit, and Arnold with a sly smile trails At least he's working on a strike, but Maccarone is in control. We'll be right back.
This should give you some idea of the difference between beer and Genesee Cream Ale. Smooth Genesee Cream Ale. It's not the same old brewski.
Hi, I'm Vicki Bennett, and I have something that can help you sell more prospects, train more employees, keep your stockholders up to date. It can even let you talk directly to branch offices across the country while you carry on business here. It's a corporate video from Corporate Video Productions, and it could be one of the best investments you make in your company. Give me a call at 1-800-222-1880. Let me show you how Corporate Video Productions can make your business come to life.
One wrong move and it could be over. The hottest women bowlers test their accuracy as they try to stop Player of the Year Betty Morris on the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour. Mondays at midnight Eastern on ESPN.
And because our telecast this evening is one of 90 minutes, we had to bowl through the first commercial. Probably do so the same for game number 2. The old two-hopper to shortstop that time by Maccarone, who hung on about a half a second too long. And there you saw he converted the 10-pin in the 4th, and that was not too good a shot.
Watch this. He's going to bounce it down at the foul line. It's going to hit there and then hang in the ball and out, well out of the lane, at least 7 or 8 feet out of the lane. As you said, the old two-hopper to shortstop.
Yeah.
Leaves a 3-6-10. Trouble.
Well, that's got to shake you up a little bit to throw that kind of a shot.
Sam just didn't get out of this ball the way he wanted to. It bounced it there and then hung on to it too long. Well, this is the spare shot. That was the other one. He was unnerved, I think, by the first shot, Dan, and that just caused a lack of concentration shooting the 3-6-10. Trying to throw the ball straight, he threw it too straight at it.
Well, let's see if Arnold can take advantage of the fact that he was sitting on the bench and now trails by only 1. If he strikes here, he leads for the first time.
Amazing how this game can turn around, isn't it, Denny?
Well, I've noticed one thing. His speed is really decreased at this point, and that could be good for a while, but when they start to break down, he'll have to speed it up, won't he?
He throws it pretty straight all along. He wasn't throwing much harder in this last night in the final game, and he bowled well, so... He has an ability to be able to keep the ball on line without a lot of speed, and it just doesn't go high.
Trying for 3 in a row. And he's got some problem.
4-10. The ball didn't look that high. Got no break on it at all. Playing right around the 8th board. And he hit that 8th board. It hooked too quick. You could see right there through the heart. Looked like he was going to break something up and didn't. 4-10. I think he'll go for 9 on this, but he may give it a run. He tried all the way. No, didn't get it.
Good effort that time by the 24-year-old from Campbell, California, but Maccarone steps up in the 6th now and has regained the lead. He leads by 5.
So each professional now has taken the lead sitting on the bench. Arnold got it and then gave it back to him again.
Biggest difference between these 2 players and the other 3 on the telecast is neither one of these guys has ever visited the winner's circle. A lot of pressure.
Better shot, left that solid 10. At least he got out of that ball clean. He gave him some confidence that he was able to get out of the ball the way he wanted to.
He kind of delays his game a little bit, though, too, Mike. He gets there and really has to kind of pull it through for the most part, doesn't he?
Well,
on the strike ball, I notice he does, not so much on the spares. Really tries to hit the ball. Looks like he tries to hit the ball in the upswing to me, doesn't he?
Yeah, he is definitely trying to do that, Dan. He's trying to get the ball out on the lane is what he's trying to do to delay the hook in this particular bowling center. Lanes have been what they call, the players call hooking early all week long, and Sam, to combat that, gets the ball further out of the lane so the ball will break later.
Tougher to get out of the ball clean all the time doing that, though, isn't it?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I do, too. Re-rack on the left-hand lane, first one that we've seen.
Sam trying to get something set up here.
Well, when the ball comes off his hand, the result is normally pretty good. He leads by 5, and that'll be up to Dave Arnold to try and close the gap a little bit. We'll be back with the conclusion of match number 1 right after these messages.
To those who fearlessly accept the challenge of car care, Kmart dedicates the following. Rain Dance Liquid or Paste Wax, now just $2.99 after $2 mail-in rebate. You can't lose at the Auto Center at Kmart, the saving place and more.
27 years old, and his company was just purchased for $10 million. 34, and she was just made vice president of a well-known bank. 45 and sailing the Pacific for a year. You may wonder how these people do it, but they're just like you and me, sharing the same desire for success. And while there's no one formula for success, there is one magazine with information to improve your portfolio, your career, your lifestyle. With your paid subscription to Fortune, receive this investor's guide, plus this free Fortune Facts with calculator, calendar, and business planner, which is being used by this 47-year-old president of a successful medical company. Call 1-800-621-9300. Get 17 issues at almost 50% off the cover price, payable in 3 installments of just $9.97 each. That's something even highly successful people can't turn away from. 1-800-621-9300.
Key shot for Dave Arnold. He trails by 5 opening game. And then the 7th frame.
Better shot. Ooh, solid 10 on 46. One by Maccarone, now one by Arnold. Right here, you're going to get a look at a straight shot going in. The 6-pin, second from the right, just flies right around that 10. How often I've seen that reaction. Our scorekeeper this week, Chuck Pierce, I'm sure has seen that same reaction a few times. At the 10-pin, no trouble.
So Arnold, whose year-to-date average is 210, is impressing his grandparents and his mother Marilyn on the right there. Nice to have the troops out to watch, right?
You need that support.
Sure.
Another re-rack on lane 45, this time by Arnold.
The winner of this game takes on Mark Williams,
who was striking at will in practice. So we'll see. High again. Almost got the crossover again. He's just totally lost on 45. The only strike he's had on that lane was a Brooklyn. He's either missed the head pin or gone high every single time.
No fun to be that confused out there. And obviously the professionals are constantly moving, making the adjustments with speed and line and angle. And sometimes it just isn't there to be found.
Yes, I know that feeling, Benny.
Yeah, you suffered from that many a time. I remembered watching. Scratch your head and say, how in the world do you hit the pocket?
Sam, who has when he makes a good shot, has a decent reaction on both lanes, is in a position now to take total command of this match. He's up 6 pins right now. Can make it 16 if he can double. Whoa, he says, and it did. Boy, that's an obedient ball.
Well, that's a good tip for the average player. Just talk to the ball, right, Mike?
Well, I think all of them do that naturally. See the free swing of Sam Maccarone. A little higher in the shoulder backswing, well out on that lane, over the dots. But the reaction is solid in the 1-3 pocket. All right, he says.
It's the old Glassboro shuffle there.
Make it 26 with one more.
Trying to really clamp things up. Oh, the 4-pin. Stand steady on lane 45. Pretty good shot by Samuel.
Just didn't get that thumb out of the ball quite as clean as the shot before because he knew that would put him away entirely.
Boy, contrasting, you're going to get a chance to watch Mark Williams bowl this next game, and boy, does he get out of the ball clean. Oh my.
Yes, he does.
He may have the sweetest release right now on the PBA National Tour.
Hard and straight at the 4-pin, no trouble. Arnold trailing by 15 pins heading to the 9th frame then, and the situation is Arnold is potential 209 if he would strike all the way out, and that's what he needs to do.
Well, he struck just once on lane 46, threw an excellent shot the last frame. Last trip there and left a solid 10.
Boy, he's just aiming at a crack out there, the 2, 4, 5, 8 dinner bucket.
It's amazing sometimes when you have the right equipment, the whole lane opens up for you, and then other times you play and it just, as you said, you're aiming at cracks out there. If you don't make a perfect shot, you can't even hit the pocket, let alone strike.
Let alone strike, sure. Yes. He's still in the match, though, if he can make this spare.
That's got a hold.
Well, he got a break. But he's in the position now that he has to double in the 10th frame. As we see a replay of him shooting the dinner bucket. He's trying to hit right between the 2 and 5 and goes over to the crossover on the spare and gets a real break by making that, having that 5-pin hit the 8. He's still potential 195, which would force Sam Maccarone to mark in the 10th frame. So you never know. Well, he made his best shot of the game right there. He had not hit the pocket on that game the whole game, on that lane the whole game, and he buries one in the 10th frame. Still needs one more, though.
It's amazing his demeanor. It never changes whether he's shooting 300 or 100.
Yeah, it's amazing. My wife used to walk in the bowling center. She could tell how I was bowling from across the center just by looking at me, but Arnold is never that way. Right there. Oh, what a bad break. Leaves a solid 9.
Look at that. That Pat Paulson imitation. Never changes, always deadpan.
Watch it here. It's high flush. 4-pin crunches. The ball chops the 5 off the 9. He leaves that solid 9. And as we see the urethane balls develop nowadays with the lighter pins and double voids of those pins, we see more of this happening. Solid 9s.
Well, in the old days, it used to be the solid 8. Now it's the solid 9.
Well, they're leaving their shares of solid 8s, too. The ball just hits the pin so hard, Dan.
So 185 for Arnold, and the Maccarone in a good position to wrap things up, and obviously he does.
Took no time at all. He was up like a flash to make that shot. And Sam bowled except for that one double bounce shot in the 5th frame there, he had a solid game all the way through.
Yeah, and then he missed the spare in the 5th, but other than that, you're right. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he missed the pocket. Other than the first frame.
First frame, yeah.
Right. But the advantage is winning that first game, getting a little loose, making the minor adjustments on the championship pair, and that's the whole key.
Yeah, he's going to need it because he's got a tough opponent ahead of him in the next game.
Mark Williams next in line, then Mark Baker qualifying number 2, and on top, a replay of last week, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Maccarone with the finishing touches on an opening victory, the $130,000 Kessler Classic, the final 214 to 185. So Arnold leaves with a nice check worth $4,500. And now stepping in, it'll be Mark Williams. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with game number 2.
I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports. There's scenes where Darryl Dawkins renovates NBA backboards.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is when Billie Jean King turns Bobby Riggs into tennis's court jester.
I hear there's a scene where a West German golfer shoots for birdie from a pretty strange place.
I love it where George Brett calmly disputes his pine tar home run. The all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports is 45 minutes of the funniest film I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No store has this version.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love SI. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get the all-new Not-So-Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Preview and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I love that.
You even get the big Summer Olympic special issue and the commemorative Olympic pin set.
And the all-new not-so-great moments in sports?
You get it all.
I do. How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Hold on. All that great footage, that video's really worth having.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 monthly installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Preview, the Summer Olympic special issue, Olympic pin set, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-541-8700.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-541-8700.
Hi, have you heard of a video cassette called The All-New Not-So-Great Moments in Sports?
Welcome back to Riverside, California. Opening match winner there, Sam Maccarone with a 214-185 victory over Dave Arnold. Arnold with a charge in the 10th, but it wasn't quite enough.
Well, Sam had 7 strikes to only 3 for Arnold and bowled a better game. He deserved to win, Dan.
Game number 2, Mark Williams on your left and Sam Maccarone. So Maccarone will start, I believe, on the left-hand lane. 7 strikes in that opening game, but as we've already mentioned, Mark Williams is a terror on television, especially from the number 3 position.
Won 4 times from the number 3 position, twice from the number 1 position, and he's in that number 3 position, his favorite spot tonight. Sam's throwing the ball real well right now, Dan. If he can keep up that momentum, he can give Williams here a go run for his money.
Mark Williams really developing into one of the finest players, certainly a top 10 player right now in the world.
What a pretty release he's got.
Opening offering, a strike on the right-hand lane. Told me he had a couple of different shots. He could either go a little straighter with it, around the 8 board or 9 board, or get inside a little bit and maybe swing 13. He said he was going to wait and see what happens and get a little feel during the practice session.
Looks like he's opted for the second alternative that you were talking there. It looked like he threw that first shot left to the second arrow. Ooh. He doesn't leave a lot of weak 10s. He's got such a rolling ball. Switches balls for the spare.
It looks so effortless, and the ball comes off his hand rolling. You know what I mean? It doesn't really... It never really skid roll hooks. You know what I mean? It just seems like it's rolling all the time.
And did you see the way he threw that spare?
Yeah.
He threw virtually a backup ball at that spare.
It was very straight with the spare attempt.
He has real control of his hand release. He can throw it straight, he can hook it, he can back it up, he can do a lot of different things. Very talented player. Maccarone has had good success on lane 46.
Well, Sam's a very animated player, and when he gets it going, you normally won't find him standing in any one spot for too long.
Sam, a little side view here, pushes that ball out into the free swing. It's into a gravity pendulum swing right now. A little bit early, hits the top of the backswing. See how the wrist is broken there. Now he straightens it out, coming through a nice long slide, and tries to lift right here with the fingers. When he gets that thumb out clean, it's good. But look at how far the ball goes out of the lane, Dan.
Forget the heads. He's already over. Needs a little help from the 5. Doesn't quite reach the 7, so it's double and 9 count for Sam Maccarone.
But he's got the ball in the 1-3 on a steady basis, and you do that, you're going to get you a few strikes here and there.
He's got the good reaction, and he knows it.
Yes, he does. Hard and straight at the 7th pin. You know, as pretty as Mark Williams' hand release is, I think his biggest asset, though, Dan, is just his reaction to pressure. Pressure brings out the best in him. He performs better under it than he does other times. Ooh, is that ball alive?
Well, you talk about pressure, and really the key to, I think, a successful career on the PBA Tour is being able to bowl on television in the championship round, taking advantage of the appearance when you get there. And coming into this one tonight, Williams is 23-10 on national television, and that winning percentage is outstanding.
Huh. You know you got to bowl a great game to beat him.
Yeah, he's applying pressure by virtue of the fact that they know he's gonna shoot a big game. Well, it's a big double for Williams, and he now leads by just one. And well, don't go away. This one should provide some excitement here.
Hi there. You looking for Mr. Right?
Give this guy a light and Bud Light here.
Ask for Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Because everything else is just a light.
Thanks. Keep the change.
Introducing Kodacolor Gold 100.
I see your true colors shining through. See your true colors shining through.
Kodacolor Gold 100 gives you the most accurate colors, the truest colors of any print film.
So don't be afraid to let them show
A new Kodacolor Gold.
your true colors. Your true colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
To those who fearlessly accept the challenge of car care, Kmart dedicates the following. Esprit Wheel Magic Wheel Cleaners, now just 27 cents after $2 rebate. You can't lose at the Auto Center at Kmart, the saving place and more.
Go. A sport for all seasons. And 12 months a year, ESPN brings you the best of the PGA Tour. Coverage from 3 of golf's Grand Slam events, the finest Lady Linksters, and those swinging seniors. Join the world's greatest golfers for heart-stopping and heart-breaking thrills all year long for live coverage that's far better than par for the course. ESPN.
And this is Maccarone's shot in the 5th. And a good one. He left a weak 10 on lane 46 in the 4th and spared, but that was an excellent shot.
He's had the ball right in the pocket all 5 shots. Williams has been in there all 4. As I was commenting to you in the break here that if I were bowling Williams, I wouldn't watch him bowl at all because the ball is intimidating. It just is alive. Just like that, boy. That's the way he was throwing him in practice, folks. Watch this release. Hand right behind the ball here now. Swing kind of bounces out at the top. And now watch him come through. Eyes on target there. Look at that eye, the head. And the release here, the thumb is out now, and the fingers just roll right up alongside of that ball. Not much turn. Look at that follow through right behind his ear there. Just perfect.
Trying to extend the lead a little bit. That one he set a little short and leaves the baby split, so it's the first errant shot really for Mark Williams, and it comes on the left-hand lane.
He is human then, huh?
He didn't make many.
Let's see. I think he is going to try and throw it straight at the spare and not hook it at the spare. This kind of backup shot that he throws at the spares of this guy. He did. Boy, that's talent, Danny. That is really talent.
Sam Maccarone trailing by 10. Sam has earned nearly $200,000 in the 8 years that he's been playing professionally. Real steady player.
This is a big shot for him, and he knows it. You can see it in the eyes. Has to get there. Oh, see, you just didn't get the lift he wanted, and that 6-pin would knock out the 10. Sometimes those pins will tell you exactly how that ball came off your hand, and it did then. See, watch the second from the right, 6-pin second from the right. Goes to the channel, tries to come up and get the 10, but there wasn't enough life in that ball caused by the hand release.
Let me ask you this. He leaves the half 10 on that lane, the previous shot. What kind of an adjustment would he have made on that shot, do you think?
He's trying to get a better, cleaner release with heavier fingers.
Okay. You wouldn't move with your feet or anything like that? You wouldn't change your...
You could, but the thought goes through your mind, if I move, I'm going to go high. I've just got to make a better shot.
Yeah, crisper shot, get a little better roll. Good match here. Maccarone defeated Dave Arnold 214 to 185 in the opening game.
Has to hurry. And did. Got that light shaker.
Well, he needed a little help, and he got it. And Sam Maccarone, with a smile on his face, will sit down. But that man's pretty doggone serious. Williams. He'll be right back.
Monday, sunshine, mostly clear and breezy. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, still...
You want every day to be your best. So does Esquire magazine. That's why every issue brings you the information you need to stay on the leading edge. Esquire helps you look your best with meaningful fashion reports. Esquire helps you get more out of life and your personal relationships. Esquire gives you an edge in business, from your investments to your career. Every month there's more for you in Esquire. Call now and we'll send you a year of Esquire. 12 issues for only $11.95. That's a 60% savings off the regular cover price and $5.99 less than the basic subscription rate. You'll also receive Esquire's exclusive guide to health and fitness, A Man's Body, free with your paid subscription. If you want to make the most of your career, your relationships, your money, your leisure, call now to save 60% on Esquire and get a free copy of A Man's Body. Esquire, your edge.
Well, there you see Mark Williams' shot in the 8th frame. He struck in the 7th, but here's mistake number 2 on the left-hand lane.
He's playing further out on this left lane than the right lane. He got it in about the 9th or 10th board. The ball goes high. He's going to give this shot a run. The 6, 7, 10, he's got to hit the 6 pin on the right and slide it over in the 7, and he's going to try for it. Didn't get it. We got a real tight match now, then. Maccarone up by 2 pins and could really put the hammer to Mark Williams right now with a strike in the 8th and 1 in the 9th.
We were kidding Sam prior to the telecast this evening that he is the senior citizen on the telecast tonight at the tender age of 32.
Let's see how he responds to this pressure pack situation right now. Best shot of the game. That's really character building right there.
He got all of that.
He got out of this ball cleaner with heavier fingers, just like we were talking about. Right over that 9th board, just dead flush, and he knew he'd thrown it well. He says, yeah.
When the pros go down on one knee, they're asking for the strike.
Up by 12, can make it 22 with one more here. It's there. Oh, pretty shots. Sam Maccarone may be coming of age, even at age 32, as a professional bowler tonight. Another pressure-packed shot, and he threw it perfect. Mark Williams now has to strike out, Denny.
Could shoot 226 if he would throw the 4-bagger, and he needs it bad. Right-hand lane's been a good one for him. Uh-oh, half-hit pocket. And the 10-pin stands.
Left lane just gave him trouble in the 6th frame and 8th frame. Back-to-back splits, baby splits, 6, 7, 10. Had the ball in the pocket on this right lane every shot.
Well, you have to figure Williams to be the favorite coming into this one, but Maccarone, as you mentioned, taking full advantage, and he's working on the turkey.
Right now, it's the old situation that Williams must strike out in the 10th for 216 to force Maccarone to mark, and that's a bad place to be.
This one he gives a little more room and leaves the ringing 10.
And that basically is it. Maccarone just has to keep it on the lane and decent count in the 10th frame, stay behind the foul line, and he's going to be a winner. Go on to face Mark Baker.
Yep.
And on top of the stack, Walter Ray Williams Jr. So two tough ones out of the way, but my goodness, a couple of giants waiting in the wing.
They're not getting any easier for him, are they?
No.
But it's amazing what happens to that confidence. So Williams, obviously disappointed with the performance, shoots .204, and other than a couple of errant shots on the left-hand lane, he could have provided some problems for Sam Maccarone.
Maccarone, knows, had every ball in the pocket, bowled a very professional game. He says, I don't care now. Doesn't matter. The swishing 7. That's enough right there. He's a winner.
So Sam Maccarone will move on to game number 3. But coming up in just a second or so, Average Builders with Mike Durbin.
Have you ever seen one of the pro bowlers on our ESPN telecast sitting in this very chair, and suddenly he turns to the ball return, picks up his bowling ball, and fiddles with something in the thumb hole, and he appears to either put something in or take something out, and you wondered what in the world he was doing? Well, chances are he was either putting in or taking out tape. And tape is what we're going to talk about in the tip tonight. And when I think of tape, several questions come to my mind. I think they can be qualified as starting with 4 W's and an H. And the first W is, well, why do I want to use tape? And the simple answer to that question is to get a better feel with the bowling ball. You see, as we progress in our level of ability in the sport of bowling, feel becomes more and more important. And the feel that I'm looking for is when I put my thumb into the ball, the pad of my thumb here against the forward wall of the hole, and pull the thumb out, I should feel just a trickle on the backside. That's what we're striving for. Now, the second W is, well, when do I use tape? And the answer to that is all the time. I really don't think the pros on the Pro Tour today could survive without tape. And the reason being is that we bowl in all different types of climate. When we bowl in hot weather, our thumbs swell. When we bowl in cold weather, they shrink. When we bowl a lot, they swell again. And when we don't bowl very much, they shrink again. So we need tape to try and adjust to the different weather climates and how often we're bowling. The third W is, well, where do I put the tape? Now, most people recommend that I put the tape in the back of the thumb hole. The reason for that is most people like to have the pad of their thumb feel the surface of the ball in the forward part of the hole. Personally, I like to have the feel of tape on the pad of my thumb, so I put tape in the forward part of the hole and the back part of the hole. And the last W is, what kind of tape should I use? And that's strictly up to individual preference. Many people like the old black electrician's tape. Some people like the white adhesive tape. And still others like a pre-cut tape. The last question I have is, how do I put it in? And the answer to that is any way that you can get it in there, with your finger, with a pencil. For years, I used a simple pocket knife. Just whipped out that pocket knife, tore off a piece of the tape, put it on the end of the knife, slipped it into the hole, checked that feel. Now I'm ready to average 230. Remember, feel is very, very important in the sport of bowling. Tape helps us get that right feel. So why don't you try putting tape in that thumb hole and see if you don't have a better feel and better scores. We'll see you again next week.
Well, Debbie Durbin's back in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, and Mike's next to me in Riverside. But geez, Mike and Debbie, happy anniversary from out here in California. And coming up next, it's Maccarone and the big fella, Mark Baker.
As members of the American Bowling Congress, these men receive valuable benefits. In sanctioned leagues, they know their games count, and standard rules help the fun along. Awards give them proper recognition. They get their shot at national competition, and they're helping our country's Team USA. When these members go bowling, they know being organized is more fun.
Get in league with America. Join the ABC.
For great personal service and low everyday prices, check the lineup at your neighborhood True Value hardware store, where the July True Value of the month is a Master Electrician multi-plug cord reel. This portable reel stores 25 feet of 16-gauge cord. It features 4 grounded outlets and a built-in circuit breaker. In July, pick up the Master Electrician multi-plug cord reel for just $9.99, where you see the banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Each weekday, ESPN's magazine shows are hot off the presses. Mondays, catch the inside pitch on Major League Baseball magazine. Tuesdays, swing into the week in golf with Inside the PGA Tour. Wednesdays, keep pace with the racing world on Budweiser Thoroughbred Digest. Thursdays, stay on track for the best motorsports with ESPN Speed Week. Fridays, keep ahead of the pack on running and racing. Your subscription awaits. Weekdays on ESPN.
Big game here in the semifinals. Sam Maccarone and Mark Baker. Baker loves this house. He qualified number 2 last year, but lost in a tough decision to Amleto Manicelli.
And he looks uptight right now. See if he can loosen up and relax and let his talent come through. Oh, he moved it. He moved it an inch. I tell you what, if he threw one down the left channel, it'd hit it. He's got a million pins going at this 7-pin. A couple of them touch it and hit it and move it over to the left there. See it move over toward the corner of the pin deck.
Head pin, I think, got clipped by the 4 or something like that. The head pin was off the wall in a hurry.
He's got that first spare, which with Mark is always an adventure.
I think it's, in most cases, him bowling against himself rather than the opponent of the lanes. I think when he plays well within his own talents, he's very, very tough.
And he did that very well this week. You know,
Yeah,
we saw him shoot a couple 150 games, and he shook them right off, came back, bowled 240 right after that, and just never got angry and never beat himself this week.
No question. He's making the transition. When he does fully, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I'll tell you, this man is wired right now. He is throwing every ball in the 1-3 pocket, and the confidence is building. Wants a re-rack on the left lane.
Sam Maccarone averaging 220.5 after 2 victories thus far here this evening. He defeated Dave Arnold 214 to 185 and then knocked off Mark Williams in the last match 227 to 204.
He wants to get out to an early lead over Baker.
And that would be advisable.
Oh, just perfect. Baker knows that he's got a guy here that's just wired and is going to shoot at least probably 220 at him, and he's got to get something going.
Well, last week, Pete McCormick got started early and took it all the way to the title.
Uh-huh.
What's Walter Ray going to be saying to himself? Maccarone wins this game.
That's
oh, no,
right.
it couldn't happen 2 weeks in a row. Baker with his opening effort on the right-hand lane. Oh, he's going to shake him a little bit, and finally that 7-pin touch.
And Mark, who's made an effort this week to throw the ball straighter than he normally does. Normally he tucks his little finger under. This week he's untucked it and spread it out and is trying to stay behind and stay away from as much side roll as he had and get a little more forward roll. See that ring finger or little finger, pinky finger there spread out.
It almost looks like he's got that Brian Voss grip. Well, that one's going to go left to target all the way. How about a break? 10-pin will finally stand as the 6-pin is the last to fall.
And Mark, who likes to attack the pins before they know what's coming at him, that time just rushed it too much. Switches balls to shoot the 10-pin. Has it.
Maccarone operates on a double in the 3rd.
The way Sam's going right now, Mark Baker could find himself behind quite a bit very early in this game. Oh, he carries the light hit as Baker changes chairs. Out about that 8th board there. Once you come in light and just saw the 5 into the 7 in a hurry. And his reaction, swigs that hip at it a little bit and then says, all right.
A little hop, skip, and a jump. Maccarone plus 20.
Make it 30 with one more.
Mm-hmm. So Maccarone starts with the first 4 in the semifinal game, and the pressure is on Mark Baker at this stage to kind of fight back. We'll be right back right after this.
To those who fearlessly accept the challenge of car care, Kmart dedicates the following. Armor All Protectant. Now just $2.77 after $1 mail-in rebate. You can't lose at the Auto Center at Kmart, the saving place and more.
Time Magazine has put together a very special free gift for subscribing. It starts with something everyone needs. A telephone. With automatic redial, a ringer shut-off switch, and a mute button. But when you're on the phone, it makes sense to have a calendar handy. So we've added a permanent calendar. And when you need the date, you often need the time, too. So we've included a digital clock. And then, for all those important messages, we've built in a memo pad, which means you'll need a place for your pen or pencil. So here's a pen and pencil holder. It all adds up to the Ultronic 4-in-1 phone center. And it's free with your paid subscription to Time. Call this number and enjoy 26 weeks of Time for more than 40% off the cover price. Payable in 3 monthly installments of just $9.89 each. Call 1-800-284-4500 now. It's the most remarkable offer Time has ever assembled, including this handsome 4-in-1 phone center. Free.
And from the broadcast vantage point, a good look at Mark Baker, 6'4", 220-pound tight end out of UCLA. No, that's not right. He could have been probably, huh?
But he was a good basketball player. Still is.
Terrific basketball player. Right now, trying to make a strike.
He's got some confidence on the right lane on 46 to get the ball in the 1-3 pocket. He looks like he's not sure of himself on lane 45. Where Sam Maccarone says, hey, they're both the same to me. I love them both.
Well, in the practice session, when we asked him if there was much of a difference between 45 and 46, he said, I think 46 may hit a fraction more, but not much.
I find it ironic. Mark Baker was up near the top all the way through match play, and as we see this graphic, Sam Maccarone was in 18th place starting the last 8 games and just barely made it to the 5th, and if he keeps it going, he could be bowling for his first title.
His highest PBA finish coming into this one, 4th a couple of times, so he will have surpassed that regardless of what happens in this match, but at the halfway point, it would appear as if he has the upper hand over Baker.
It's difficult to go out and bowl a guy that you know is just lined up to shoot a big game, and you're fishing.
Just ask Walter Ray. He went through that last week. I wonder if that's going through his mind right now in the practice script.
It certainly could be.
Yeah. Maccarone, 32 years of age, thus far this year, has earned $28,849. And if he finishes up on top of the leaderboard when they're all done here tonight, he gets a check worth $20,000.
And a trip to the Firestone.
Yep. An exemption. Looking for 5 in a row. Doesn't quite get the job done.
And a little chink in the armor, just not the good hand release. The ball was basically on line again. He just didn't get the thumb out as clean as he wanted. It's hard to see from this angle, and it's more a feel thing. But see, the thumb was just late coming out that time. The ball was right on line, but it's sliding here instead of turning over to the left, going into the pocket. As he comes through, thumb is supposed to come out about here, and it just came out late. At the spare, made it. I didn't see it, but he covered it perfect at 258. Not an easy spare.
Well, we didn't want to jinx Sammy, but obviously if anybody shoots 300 on the PBA Summer Tour, the good folks at True Value Hardware will present him with a check worth $25,000. So it could have been a big night for him. Huh? Mm-hmm. Remember last year in the Buffalo tournament?
Mark Roth left the 10-pin.
Yep, $299. Right back at him. This time a little overreaction. Ball hooked a touch early and left the solid 4. So there is some life right now, though, for Mark Baker. He's got to feel like, geez, Maccarone finally stopped. I got a chance.
Well, Maccarone makes this. Mark is going to be down 29 pins. And if he could just get something going, put a little pressure on Sam, see what would happen. Sam just throwing the ball hard and straight at the 4-pin. A little rumble there, but the pro bowlers don't care when they're shooting those spares. You can rumble all they want as long as it knocks it down. All right, his best shot. He's got to put it together right now, Dan. He has tremendous talent. If he keeps his feet slow, that's what he's striving for because he's anxious. But look at that lift, and he thinks he's fudging it right now. I'd like to fudge it like that.
We've been kidding him all week long because we say, you know, you used to be a boom ball bowler and now you're a stroker. And he says, well, you got to do what you have to do to get the job done. I think his versatility improving. That's why he's having such a nice year. Stands up straight on this one. Nice shot and a big double. So Baker counter punches with a big double in the 6th and the 7th. And this one's tightened up considerably. We'll be right back after this.
I'm here in this auto graveyard to demonstrate New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. Simply wipe it on and wipe it off. There's no rubbing, no buffing. Look how New Finish restored a deep, hard shine to even this weather-beaten old car. You see, New Finish is not a wax. It's a space-age polymer formula that shines better and lasts longer. And here's proof. An independent laboratory tested New Finish against several leading brands of car polish. After simulating a full year of punishing weather, New Finish had the highest gloss and actually retained 90% of its original shine. Next, we polished this car with New Finish and ran it through 52 car washes. After all the harsh detergents and scrubbing, the water still beads. You'll find New Finish is great for fiberglass boats, too. So get New Finish, the once-a-year car polish. And between polishings, use New Finish Poly Car Wash to clean your car. It's specially formulated to help preserve and maintain your car's finish.
New Finish at Kmart, Woolworth, Osco, True Value, Ace, Revco, Rite Aid, Eckerd, Walgreens, and other leading stores.
Baker contemplating the future. Meanwhile, his opponent, Sam Maccarone, steps up in frame number 7. He's up by 19.
And it's funny how momentum is right now. Momentum has definitely kind of switched to Mark Baker, and Sam has to grab it back and make good shots. And he did. There's nothing more demoralizing when you're bowling an opponent and you get the double and you put the pressure on him and he comes right back and says, I can do it too, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Got to believe this is the key shot, though, for Maccarone. If he doubles right back, then...
And he goes back up by 29 and Baker is forced to strike.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't walk down there and put it in the pocket any better than he did that.
Mark Baker's not looking out the window. He's gazing at the score.
And he knows the situation. He's down 29. He must strike right here. He can cut it to 19 with a strike right here. He has to have it. Has to hurry. And he got it off the wall. And he says, that's how the Spudgers carry those hits.
That's right. It's the Weber wall shot.
Watch how fast the head pin comes off the wall here. Like a bullet. That head pin will go to the wall and come back and get the 4-5-7. That cuts it to 19. One more cuts it to 9, and this is his difficult lane. He has chosen to finish on lane 46. The key shot of the week right now for Mark Baker. Just couldn't stay slow going through it. It's just in a hurry at the foul line. It's tough to do when that pressure's on.
The opportunity now for Maccarone, if he can take advantage of it.
Good try.
To move on to the title match. Nice try by Baker. Boy. Nice comeback performance for him. Behind the entire match, Maccarone starting with the first 4. Mark had the turkey in the 6th, 7th, and 8th and couldn't make the key shot in the 9th.
That was on his difficult lane.
Yeah, you're right.
High. He breaks the split up. Same place that Baker hit, but he breaks it up.
That looked like a very tentative shot there.
It was a defensive shot all the way. It just, I don't know why. At this point, he's got the game virtually locked up, but he got defensive and threw it right to the heart and just broke the 7-pin out of there.
A lot of times they say the toughest game to win when you haven't won on the PBA Tour is the semifinal game just to get to the championship match.
Well, right now he's up 34 pins. If he doesn't throw another ball, he's going to have 204. The best Baker can get if he strikes out is 210. So he's just got to stay behind the foul line again and keep the ball on the lane, and he's a winner to go on to bowl for his first title.
That's a great way to get into the championship match, too. Saves on the nerves a little bit.
Amazing. He goes through the nose in Brooklyn. All of a sudden, he was just dead wired, and now he's lost the pocket.
It's amazing because Sam Maccarone is being touted as the new Pete McCordick, a player who has gone the longest time without winning a title. McCordick won last week. Will Maccarone shed the McCordick image the week after?
Well, he's shooting 240 this game, and if he keeps throwing them all in the pocket like that last one, like the 11th one, Walter Ray's going to have his hands full.
We'll have to put Kevin Chippy, the PBA's publicity director, to work here and find out who's behind Maccarone in the McCordick department, huh? Well, 2 strikes and 9 for Maccarone, who shoots a beautiful 243 game, and so he's going to move on to the top seed, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Meanwhile, Mark Baker explodes the pocket on the right-hand lane and waves goodbye. $7,000 for the effort this week, and that puts Mark now over $61,000 for the year. But obviously disappointed.
Well, the competitor he is, he's thinking first. That's all he was thinking. He wasn't thinking third. He's thinking first.
The thing that's amazing is look how slow he goes to the line here, these last 2 shots. There you see the Baker contingent. Dad on the far right and his stepmother, and then his lovely girlfriend. And not much fun to come down and watch him lose.
Well,
but
losing is never fun.
No, but you get there. That's the important thing. Well, the crossover hit means nothing at this stage. So the final score, Maccarone 243, Baker 209. And there you see the look on Sam Maccarone's face. He knows that in a couple of minutes he's going to be bowling for his first ever career PBA championship, and he can win. Now he's just got to beat Walter Ray. We'll be right back.
Hi, folks. This is Noah Osborne from Osborne Boat Sales in York, your local Mercruiser-powered Regal dealer, inviting you to see the highest quality of runabouts and cruisers on the market today, the Mercruiser-powered Regals. We have them all, big or small, from the 18-foot Medallion to the 36-foot Commodore. If you're going to purchase a boat this year, purchase quality, purchase Regal, and preserve your dollar investment. Come see them at Osborne Boat Sales at the Mount Zion exit of Route 30 in York.
ESPN is your ticket to NFL Sunday night action when the best go head-to-head. As time runs out elsewhere, ESPN kicks off each Sunday night of the season with football's finest hour, NFL Primetime. The greatest plays from every game played that day. Then, Joe Theismann joins the team that won critical acclaim.
Catch it in August. The NFL on ESPN. Brought to you by these sponsors.
Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Oh, baby, come on. Let me take you where the action is. Showtime's gonna take you where the action is.
Check out Showtime's exclusive action lineup of blockbusting hits and original shows. RoboCop, Stakeout, Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Untouchables, and more.
Showtime's gonna take you where the action is.
It's not on HBO. The action's on Showtime.
No matter what anyone tells you, the Wall Street Journal cannot make you a success overnight. Which is why we suggest a 13-week subscription.
Call 800-372-3000 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-372-3000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
Leading ladies in golf try to stop two-time defending champion Jane Geddes from becoming the first triple winner of the Boston 5 Classic. Saturday and Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern, live on ESPN.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Bowling News. And now, after week number 23 on the PBA National Tour, it's time to take a look at the top 10 money winners at this stage. And Bob Benoit out of Topeka, Kansas, remains number one thanks to that 300 game that he shot in the Quaker State Open. At this point, Brian Voss, who nearly made the finals here this week, is number two, just a little over $2,000 behind, so that money race starting to tighten up a little bit. Pete Weber withdrew from this week's event. He is still number three, while Mark Williams and Marshall Holman currently fill out the top five. Tony Westlake remains number six, but regardless of where Walter Ray Williams Jr. finishes here this evening, he will add at least $10,500 to his 88 earnings. Meanwhile, Dave Fusted and last week's champion Pete McCordick round out the top 10. Here's a close-up look at Betty Morris, one of the leading contenders for a berth on the Woman Bowler All-America team now being selected. Whether you make the team or not, it's an honor just to be a candidate. And so now here's a rundown of those currently under consideration for the 87-88 team. While we're on the subject of women's bowling, the first of 6 Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour telecasts on ESPN will be coming up this Monday night at midnight. It's the Fairlanes Capital Classic. Time now to take a look at what's happened on the PBA Regional Tour. Just one event this past week out in the Great Northwest, and the tournament took place in Portland, Oregon. Tom Shook ended up the winner, finishing just ahead of right-hander Rick Jones, and for the victory, Shook collected a check worth $1,600. Meanwhile, a total of $44,000 in college scholarships will be up for grabs as the annual National Junior Bowling Championships are now underway at Strike and Spare Lanes in St. Louis. An outstanding field of 236 players from around the world have qualified for this year's competition. And let's take a look now at the way the rest of the field stacked up. Boy, George Branham made a real run at the telecast and just fell a little short.
And Jeff Rickles just left a solid 10 to miss. Jimmy Keith, big hook. Joe Firpo up there. Veteran Gary Dickinson. Butch Soper. Jimmy Pritz back on the tour. Lefty Jess Stayrook. Veteran Dale Eagle. Ryan Schaefer, Rookie of the Year. Tom Laskow back on tour. Lefty Parker Bone. Tony Figueroa, a new name there. Alan Johnson. Gip Lentine. Jeff Miller. Ricky Corona. Norm Duke. And Earl Zeman holding up the rest of them.
Might mention that Gip Lentine shot the only 300 game of the week here in Riverside, California. And let's now recap basically what's transpired thus far. Maccarone, and Maccarone, huh?
Well, last week we had McCordick. And
the M&M boys.
We're trying for a repeat with Maccarone here. We'll see what he does against Walter Ray.
214, 227, 243, and off the hand of Chuck Pierce, our crack statistician. We're at this point alerted to the fact that Sam Maccarone is averaging better than 228, and if he shoots 228 this game, do you think he could win the $20,000 first place check?
228, yeah, we put him right in contention. I think it'd be, I'd take it right now and not bowl, put it that way.
Walter Ray mopping the brow. Maccarone and he are ready for action here in the final of the $130,000 Kessler Classic. Maccarone starts on the left-hand lane. He has 7 strikes in the first game, 7 in the second, and he upped it a little bit in the semifinal, had 8 against Baker.
This is the first time, though, he's bowled for a title. And let's just see how he reacts. Well, you can't react any better than that, can you?
Well, he's in a rut, the same as McCordick was last week.
Well, McCordick was just blistering that right lane last week, and Maccarone is blistering both lanes.
Never ceases to amaze me how the players who qualify in that 4 and 5 slot can win that first game, get a little confidence, get lined up, and just mow down the field.
Yeah, in our summer ESPN telecast, the leader is 0 for the summer so far.
Walter Ray dips a little bit, leaves the solid 4, and watching him early in match play this week, Mike, after losing last week to McCordick, and he shot only 180 in the championship game, he was so intense. I think he really wanted to lead this tournament and win just to prove to himself, hey, you know, I can do this.
There's no doubt that he can do it. It's just whether he can do it from the top spot.
You know, I know that you, as you looked at the biographical information this week, were just amazed with a statistic that Walter Ray, 7 times in his career, has made back-to-back telecasts.
That's just unbelievable. I bowled out there 20 years and never made back-to-back telecasts. I made 2 out of 3, 3 out of 5, but never back-to-back like he's done 7 times.
And twice he's made 3 in a row. Good shot on the left hand lane on 45, and so Walter Ray with an X in the second.
And Walter Ray going very straight, similar to the way Maccarone is playing. They're both going very straight right around the 8th, 9th, 10th board. Sam, though, if he wants to win, which I know he does, needs to get out ahead early. Well, the carry, yes, perfect. A little more control right now. He's trying to control his emotions and save the big emotion for when it really counts later on. But watch this stroke here. Clean release that we're talking about. Right over that 9th board again. And there's the reaction. When he makes the good shot, the ball winds up in the 1-3 pocket, and he's just, oh, thank you.
He's in heaven right there, I think.
Yeah, but he's got to, that's only 1. He's got to keep throwing more. Just a little help. He just went around that ball a little bit, swung at that board, and didn't have the fingers of the Revs to get that 10 out. He knows it. That's what he's saying. And what he's saying, hey, make that spare. No mistakes. Keep myself under control.
He also knows this is going to have to go all the way to the wire, too, because you don't beat a player of Walter Ray's ability with a double in the first and the second. Long game yet.
Long game.
Now the question is, after stumbling last week from the top seed position, can he bounce back now and throw the big double to kind of gain control here?
I think he will.
I do too.
I think Walter's going to double right here.
I watched him strike out several times this week to win matches. Had the best match play record, 18 wins, 5 losses in 1 tie.
Right in there. We've watched the man bowl before.
Oh, no question.
Walter Ray, one of the most unusual arm swings on the tour. Watch this, Dan. It starts off, goes out at the top. Now watch it bounce to the left. Now watch it go straight through here. And watch the left arm now come behind his back as the follow. Look at that.
Well, he really ripped that one. Hit it too hard. And he gets the break of the tournament as the 7-pin falls, and right now he's thanking his lucky stars.
But you see what, again, the trap he fell into last week, as we see his family looking on there. The trap he fell into last week was that he started throwing harder and harder, trying to force it in there, and that's what he did then, and the thumb just didn't get out of that ball clean. Changed his balls to shoot the 610.
Looked like he really tried to juice that shot. Terrific spare shooter.
Yeah. Oh, Deadeye.
Yeah, he didn't get that nickname by missing. All right. Into the 4th frame now with Sam Maccarone.
Ooh, just a little weak, and we've got an even match if he makes the spare.
Well, that 7-pin gave a little wiggle, but didn't quite
Sam
go.
knew it. Again, those pins are telling Sam how he's throwing the ball every time. He just didn't get the lift that he wanted. Sam, like so many pros on the tour, when he shoots his spares, throws hard and straight at him.
So the pride of Glassboro, New Jersey, now even Steven with the 1986 PBA Player of the Year, and a player that certainly has to be ranked in the top 2 or 3 at this stage, don't you think?
I definitely think so. 7 championship rounds that he's made this year, more than any other player on the PBA Tour. Still looking for the first title, though, in 1988. Sam, on the other hand, looking for the first title for the career.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Perfect. Did you see that pin bounce back up? Almost stood up there for a second.
7-pin was the last to leave, but it got ambushed.
Let's see if we can see what pin that was that bounced back up. It might have been the head pin. It was the head pin. Bounced up there. Something disturbed him. I don't know what it was. Is probably we have a shield down there with camera people behind the shield, and usually they're pretty big holes, and he could probably see somebody move.
I think he sees the reflection on the lane there. You see the shot of the still photographers peeking out there about 45 feet down on the adjacent lane. Going to regroup and get up and try it again.
It's hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
You see the speed, though? The speed goes up, and the revs or the rolling of the ball goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't hit the pins quite as forcefully, and the weak 10 is the result.
So basically, he's fighting the same thing that Mark Baker was. Nerves, the ability, that energy. You want to get up there a little faster, throw it a little harder.
The difference, though, Mark Baker knows he's got to throw the ball away from the pocket. Walter Ray doesn't, and his natural instincts now are to force it and make it hold with speed, and to throw it straighter and straighter and straighter. And I know that feeling. I went through that a few times.
Record 19-10 in the championship round with an average of 223.4 throughout his career.
Better shot, more relaxed, heavier fingers, knocked that 10 right out of there. He just stroked this ball a lot better. The swing goes out, back in, thumb out, fingers lifted. Now watch the 6-pin, second from the right, snap off that wall and get the 10. And he knows it. See, you can feel that in your hand as you let the ball go. Right there. Oh, pretty.
So Maccarone now leads by 11 as he works on the double.
Yeah, but this match is a long way from being over. Walter Ray is going to be there yet. And Sam is saying something. I don't know whether he asked for a re-rack or what.
Walter Ray now still chatting with National Tournament Director Harry Golden about some kind of a reflection or distraction.
Right there. Oh, and he knocked that 10 out of there. Pretty shot. Maccarone's bowling the best that I have ever seen him in the 8 or 9 years that he's been on the tour. Now watch the 6-pin here. Watch the 6-pin, second from the right, and come back and knock that 10 out of there. Just a tender touch.
Maccarone is down on both knees, and he's begging and pleading and knows that he's applying the vice grips now. Walter Ray looks for the double. Gives it a little more room. Likes the reaction. A little wall shot. And trickles out the 7.
But he didn't try and force it. As his brother and father look on, he stroked that shot and let the ball knock out the pins. He gave it a little bit of room, but watch it. High percentage hit right here. Hit light, hit him thin, and watch him spin. You know, it's been working for 25 years or longer. Cut it back to 1 here. Just a freckle tight, and he knew it as soon as he let it go. 4-pin, and Maccarone is thinking, one more. 12 pins if he makes this spare 10.
What that last graphic didn't reflect was the fact that Walter Ray is 0 for 4 from the top seed position.
Right.
Seems like he's one of those players that once he wins a game, and climbs that ladder is really tough to beat.
There seems to be a lot of players like that.
Yeah,
You get
you're
that
right.
momentum going.
You're right. I don't think most people realize how tough it is to bowl one game for the title against a guy who's already lined up.
Oh, boy, Maccarone up by 22. He's in the 230 bracket right now. The best that Walter Ray can get is 236 if he strikes out. If Sam strikes here, his fate is definitely in his own hands. Nothing Walter Ray can beat Maccarone if Maccarone marks in the 10th.
Sam Maccarone has bowled 201 PBA tournaments without a victory.
He knows it too, probably. The 10-pin. Very professional shot. Got it in the pocket. Had every chance to strike. Just not quite the roll that we've been talking about all night long to knock out that 10. But he still needs to just make this spare. We got a great finish coming here. Right now, Sam Maccarone is going at a 237 pace. Walter Ray can strike out for 236. Anything could happen.
And don't forget, Kerry the 10-pin Ross and John Strike Saunders are standing by in Bristol for the update on Sports Center. All the Major League Baseball action, recap of that Class AAA game. That's got to fall back a little bit. 4-pin stands, and Walter Ray, I don't think, was too happy with that shot.
He was hoping to get the break, get the 2-pin to trip out that 4, and it just didn't happen. If he makes this spare, he needs to double in the 10th to make Maccarone mark.
Boy, how frustrating he must feel right now to lead back-to-back PBA events. Last guy to do that was Mike Albee back in '85, and Albee won 1 out of the 2. Walter Ray's in position to lose both.
I remember Marshall Holman back in '81 led Sarasota and then came back and led Austin and lost them both.
Mm-hmm. Boy, that is so hard on you mentally. Whew. Not over yet, though. Dishes out a good shot on lane 45 for the opening strike in the 10th. He could shoot 225. Normally that would be good enough, but it may not be tonight.
And the mental gymnastics going on right now as Walter Ray just drills this shot on the left lane. As Walter Ray knows if he strikes out, he makes Maccarone mark. And I've seen it happen before. Maccarone's sitting on the bench thinking, he's going to strike out. I've got to gear myself, then I'm going to need that mark.
Got to have this one.
And that's the trip he was looking for in both the 8th and 9th frames. That keeps him alive. A little bit left. Watch the 2-pin, 3rd from the left, gets both the 4 and the 7. Denny, remember we talked at the top of the game, we said, would 228 win? That's what Sam was averaging. Well, Walter Ray's going to finish with 225 with a strike here and force Maccarone to mark. Got to have that mark.
Well, that shows you some grit right there to strike out and force the mark. An excellent shot on the left-hand lane. And look at the head pin go high up off the sideboard and kicks out the 7. But now it's all on the shoulders of Sam Maccarone.
The biggest shot of his career right here. That's it. He did it.
And there you see the jubilant Sam Maccarone, who realizes that he's on to the Firestone Tournament of Champions. He's now an exempt player, and he joins a very select group of professionals as a winner on the PBA Tour.
And it's what you strive for whenever you come out here, is to win a PBA event, and he's done it.
And he's beaten right now the best player in the world probably at this stage, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Doesn't make any difference what he throws from here. And there you see the handshake between the two, and Maccarone out of Glassboro, New Jersey. Well, he's going to have to change his plans here in the very near future.
just lets it go at the 2:45, and the final score at 2:37, 2:25, and the high fives now being dished out for Maccarone as he's a winner here in the $130,000 Kessler Classic in Riverside, California.
Sam throwing the most important shot of his career, trusted it, Denny. He didn't yank on it left. He gave it room. He let it roll. He came in light in the high percentage hit, and there's the strike that he'll always remember.
Yeah, and he took a look at it on the replay, and he's begging for the strike. Please, one time, and guess what? Maccarone's a winner.
Round of lights here?
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Let me know when you're ready for another round.
All you need to know about do-it-yourself projects is your neighborhood True Value hardware store. Seal and inflate tires with Gold Eagle Air and Repair, just $1.99. Add shine with super hard shell car wax by Turtle Wax, just $2.49. And prevent lockouts with credit card keys by General All Lock. They store away easily in a wallet or purse, and they're just $3.99 a set. For great prices and professional advice, shop at participating True Value hardware stores. And tell them Pat Summerall sent you.
Since you don't buy a refrigerator every day.
I should have bought a Frigidaire! I finally got a Frigidaire.
Ask for the one that lasts and lasts.
I should have bought a Frigidaire. I finally got a Frigidaire.
For the Frigidaire dealer nearest you, call 1-800-451-7007.
I'll take the Frigidaire. Now.
Frigidaire, here today, here tomorrow.
There's a level of performance that separates the good from the great. That's why Carmen Salvino designed the Ebonite Thunderbolt. The exclusive power core increases gyroscopic action for a sharper hook on heavy oil. And the Thunderbolt rolls farther before hooking, so it hits harder for less deflection and more striking power. The difference between good and great is the power of the Thunderbolt.
This is ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
And the fans appreciate a terrific effort by Sam Maccarone here in Riverside, California. And Sam, you got to feel great winning the first title.
Yeah, it really felt great. I'd like to thank Lee and Active West and Kessler Classic and all you fans. You were great this week. And I'd really like to dedicate this one to my mom. She was rushed to the hospital on Saturday night. She had a mild heart attack. And this one's for you, Mom.
All right. Now Lee Smalls representing Kessler has a beautiful check worth $20,000. Lee?
Sam, on behalf of Kessler Whiskey, it's my pleasure to present you with this $20,000 check. And we really appreciate your terrific performance tonight. 4 games were outstanding.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, let's bring Bill Martin in, the general manager here at Active West, Town Square Lanes. And, William, a beautiful performance, and you've got a nice trophy there for Sam.
I sure do. Sammy, congratulations on your first win here at Active West Town Square Lanes. On behalf of Active West Bowling and Recreation Centers, we hope to have you back next year to defend your championship.
Thank you very much, and I'm sure I'll be back.
Well, you know, that's that trip now to the Firestone Tournament of Champions for you, and that certainly has to be a highlight.
Yeah, it's a goal that you always dream of, that someday you'll get to bowl the Firestone. And recently when Pete McCordick won, I was told that I was now the highest money earner without a title, but not anymore.
Michael, a question?
Sammy, just one quick question. You needed that strike to win. What was going through your mind at that time?
I just wanted to go up there and just make another good shot like I had the whole day, and I just felt really confident that I was going to go up there and hit the pocket, and if it struck, it struck, but I just wanted to execute as well as I could.
Well, you did. So a brand new champion, Sam Maccarone, here in the Kessler Classic in Riverside, California. So long, everybody. We'll see you next week. championship round coverage of the $130,000 Kessler Classic has been brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. By True Value Hardware. It's more than our name, it's our way of doing business. And by Ebonite, where advanced technology has striking results. Next week, the PBA Tour travels to the Lone Star State for the championship round finals of the $130,000 Columbia 300 Open at Highland Lanes in Austin, Texas, beginning at 9:30 Eastern Time on ESPN.